More than 1,000 miles from home, Wisconsin firefighters are trying to help save other people's homes from the worst fire season in years.
And with the franchise safe from injuries on the sidelines, we get our first look at the Packers' second string that probably has fans optimistic for the season to come.
Nearly equal pay, a starting salary of $60,000, and a variety of job opportunities. The first of its kind Madison program teaching teens what it really means to build like a girl.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning. 6 o'clock now on this Friday, August 10th. We have been dealing with some fog out there all morning.
The second or third time this week, it feels like
several foggy days, and that's what happens when you have this humid air mass. It gets cool at night, and it essentially just condenses the moisture in the air. It forms cloud on the ground, which is officially what fog actually is. That doesn't sound all too scientific, but I mean, in layman's terms, it's just a cloud on the ground. So if you've ever wondered what that feels like, there you go. Just step outside. A dense fog advisory still going in effect until 9 o'clock this morning for all of the counties shaded in gray. That does include Dane County and the city of Madison. At this point, the fog is mainly kind of in the valley areas. The visibility has gotten much better. We're now at 4 miles here in Madison. Lone Rock and Monroe both at 0. Down in Janesville, your visibility right around 1 mile. Here's a live look from our sky camera showing you the fog has been lifting throughout the morning, but nonetheless, it is still there, and it'll appear cloudy to you for as long as we have that low fog. But eventually, once that fog burns off, we'll have plenty of sunshine this afternoon. 60 degrees the temperature in Madison right now. Out closer towards the lakeshore, that's where we have a lot of temperatures that are into the upper 50s. You work your way towards the Mississippi River Valley, a lot of those temperatures are into the upper 60s. By the afternoon, we'll top out right around 82 degrees. Wind staying out of the north and northeast, which is a dry wind coming off of Lake Michigan. So that's going to help those dew points become lower into the afternoon and evening as well. But ultimately, it will be a beautiful afternoon, not only today, but into your weekend as a whole as well. So go ahead and celebrate as you make it into your Friday and a fantastic weekend as well. Traffic is running smoothly on the Beltline as of now. Here's a live look at Park Street. No issues showing up. A few brake lights starting to appear near Stoughton Road, but that is the only patch of brake lights that we see across Dane County at the moment.
That's a lot of green. That's good news.
A lot of green.
People starting that weekend early.
There you go.
Nice weather out. All right. Thank you, Chris.
Anytime.
We start this hour in California, where firefighters say the weather, and we were just talking about the weather here, well, the weather there should be in their favor for fighting some of the fires. 3/4 of that state right now is covered in wildfire smoke this morning. 10 people are dead so far as a result of about 15 wildfires that are still burning across California. The Mendocino fire north of Sacramento is the largest one in California history. It's destroyed more than 200 homes and buildings, and it's only about half contained right now. Tens of thousands of people are under a mandatory evacuation. There are also fires burning in Colorado, New Mexico, and several other states.
So there are a lot of people from Wisconsin who are helping out. Wisconsin's DNR oversees the state's wildland firefighter program and the training of people who fight wildfires here in Wisconsin and elsewhere. Right now, there is one Wisconsin crew helping out in California, several other crews in other states out west that are dealing with those wildfires. So far this summer, the DNR has sent wildland firefighters to 38 separate wildfires out west. These are usually 2-week shifts before those firefighters come back for a break at home here in Wisconsin. Now, there is no cost to the DNR, as those states where the firefighters are working do reimburse Wisconsin and other states for their help.
The National Weather Service and insurance adjusters will be back in Deerfield this morning, looking at the damage done by a possible tornado there. Some of the most extensive damage happened at the International Machinery Exchange on North Main Street. 3 employees were inside when the roof got torn off of that building. They were not hurt. Now, no sirens went off when the storm moved through quickly yesterday afternoon, but the National Weather Service says the destruction was most likely the result of a tornado. Several homes were evacuated due to a gas leak in that community, but Deerfield firefighters say that situation is under control.
Really sad story to let you know about this morning. An Illinois family is planning a funeral for their 3-year-old daughter after an accident in a Wisconsin Dells parking lot earlier this week. The toddler was hit by a car in the parking lot of the Hotel Rome on Tuesday. That's the hotel for the Mount Olympus Water Park. Lake Delton Police Chief Daniel Erdman said the 3-year-old died the same night she was hit. Now, he does not believe that alcohol played a role in that driver hitting the little girl.
A man accused of killing a Milwaukee police officer last month is pleading not guilty to the crime. Jonathan Copeland Jr. faces 3 felony charges, including first-degree murder for allegedly shooting 52-year-old officer Michael Mikowski. Now, the 30-year-old is also being charged for attempted murder for shooting at 2 other officers when they entered his home on a warrant for felony drug crimes. The other officers involved were not injured. Copeland Jr. is due back in Milwaukee County Court later on this month.
A former Madison middle school tutor accused of sending sexually explicit pictures and messages to kids is expected to hear the charges against him today. An arraignment hearing is scheduled for 19-year-old Eli Malik Medina Lopez this afternoon. He's accused of sending nude pictures to 11 and 12-year-old girls on Snapchat and then asking them for sex. He faces a charge of first-degree sexual assault of a child under 13. Now, that charge carries a maximum sentence of 60 years in prison.
6:05 right now. We're less than a month from the first day of school for most of our area, and a group of first responders is making sure that it is ready to help keep students safe. The village of Wanakee will test out its multi-agency response to a mass casualty shooting later on today. The fire, EMS, and police departments from some of the neighboring communities will also be at the high school today for the exercise. It goes from 9 until noon.
A local nonprofit's working this weekend to make sure thousands of kids in our community are ready for school next month. The 100 Black Men of Madison is hoping to help roughly 2,000 families tomorrow when it hands out free backpacks and school supplies. This is going to be the 24th annual Back to School event hosted by that nonprofit. In that time frame, the 100 Black Men of Madison has given out around 32,000 backpacks to kids in our community. There will be vendors there registering kids for after-school educational programs and information as well about college opportunities for students of color. That event runs from 9 to noon tomorrow at Madison College's Truax campus.
Homeowners in Janesville could see their property tax bills go up as much as $26 a year if a judge rules in favor of some big box stores. The Janesville Gazette reports 11 companies are appealing their property assessments, and 3 fall under what's known as the dark store rule. We've talked about that on this program. Sam's Club, Walmart, and Woodman's want their properties to be assessed as a vacant building to ease their tax burden. If those businesses win their appeal, the city of Janesville will have to make up that tax revenue, which could impact homeowners' property taxes by that $26. The city is currently in the process of reassessing property values for the first time since 2011. 6:07 right now. There's a first-of-its-kind event happening today on the UW-Madison campus to get girls interested in construction.
Yeah, that event's called Build Like a Girl. It's designed for middle and high school age girls here in our community and what's traditionally been a male-dominated field. News 3's Christina Laurie joins us now from the construction site they're going to be visiting with details on what they're going to learn. Good morning.
Good morning, Adam and Danica. The whole idea behind Build Like a Girl is much more than these hard hats and pink vests. It's the hands-on opportunity girls will have to experience what life is like working in construction. Now, it's no secret the construction industry is having trouble hiring skilled workers. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the number of construction jobs is projected to grow by 11% over the next 10 years, faster than any other occupation. Women could significantly help alleviate that shortage if they could be convinced to join the industry.
Quite frankly, there is such a broad array of opportunities in the construction field. There's the operating engineers, which are that you can run a crane, you can lay brick, you can do any number of things. You can also be in virtual construction, which is a great opportunity too. So I think they're just not aware of all of the different possibilities that you can have being in this industry.
One incentive for women is pay. On average, women make 92.5 cents for every dollar a man makes in the construction field. Nationally, in other industries, the wage disparities is 79 cents on the dollar. Now, girls will be out here at this construction site starting at 9:30 this morning, but the Build Like a Girl program actually starts at 8 o'clock. It'll be over in Middleton at the Mirren Construction Company's headquarters there. So a very full day for these girls.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
I would imagine you get to swing a hammer, get to lay some bricks. Pretty cool stuff. All right, Christina Laurie reporting live for us this morning. Thank you.
6:09 right now, and normal recycling in Madison is going to take a 2-day break ahead of the madness of downtown move-out days next week. City crews have been making special daily pickups of garbage, recycling, and large items, but That's going to stop at 3 o'clock this afternoon for the weekend. They will start back up again on Monday and will be emptying refuse and recycling carts every day until next Friday. If you're one of the people moving out over the next week, you're asked to make sure all of your garbage and recycling, it's all in the carts to keep neighborhoods clean. In the carts.
Even though Leah loves hippie Christmas, just got to keep it mellow.
Sorry, Leah.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
10 minutes after 6 right now. The latest thriller set out on the waters, reminiscent of Jaws, just a little more realistic looking. Just a little.
A little bit.
Danica's pretty pumped, though, that Dwight from The Office is in this movie. Will's going to preview The Meg after the break. Hopefully, we're not going to be too traumatized that we won't want to go in the water afterwards.
Yeah, you might want to do that actually this weekend too, because Chris is in for Hattie with a really nice couple of days. You can see the sun coming up this morning. The heat is returning though eventually in his first alert forecast. We'll have the details when News 3 This Morning returns.
This portion
Good morning. That fog does continue to lift here in the Madison area, and that's leaving behind a crystal blue sky and lots of sunshine. But until then, we do still have a dense fog advisory that's going to last until about 9 o'clock this morning. Visibility here in Madison now at 4 miles, but it's still 0 in Monroe and Lone Rock, 1 mile over in Janesville. We're all going to gradually see that begin to improve with time. Here's our WISC-TV camera showing you some of that fog, especially out in the western portions of Dane County. You'll notice that a lot of that's going to be in the valleys between the hills. That's where it's going to be at its worst. Temperatures this morning are about 11 degrees colder than they were yesterday at this time. We do have a temperature of 60 degrees right now, upper 50s as you work your way out towards the east. The further you get towards the west, things are a little bit warmer. We do have temperatures into the upper 60s there. Our dew points are higher there as well. I'll show you those in just a second. But as we go through the afternoon, do expect your temperatures to top out into the low 80s for afternoon highs with plenty of sunshine. So here are those dew points once again. Of course, it is more humid on the western half of the state. That is actually why we kept our temperatures a bit warmer there. Out towards the east, we have drier air coming in off the lakeshore, and that's eaten into those dew points and caused them to drop into the upper 50s. But as long as we keep this north to northeasterly wind in play, that's what we're going to see happen into the afternoon. The air gradually feeling drier and drier with time. That's also with high pressure taking over. And even though that high pressure isn't so much colder, it is substantially drier, and that's going to keep those sunshine around pretty much all weekend long. Each and every day we'll have those temperatures topping out into the lower, even mid 80s for highs, with plenty of sunshine going through the weekend. Temperatures do stay above average, though, for the next several days, and we're talking potentially well above average at that. So we'll keep a close eye on the temperature trends as we go through time. 65 to 77 this morning, dense fog, mild and muggy. 82 into the afternoon. Of course, we will be much less humid into this afternoon as well. We continue to see the sunshine pretty much all weekend long and through the next 7 to 10 days. It is going to be absolutely fantastic with all of the sunshine that we do have out there. 84 on Saturday, 86 on Sunday. Monday looks fantastic as well. No true rain chances coming in until we get you towards next week, and even still, I'm not all that impressed with those rain chances, just mainly temperatures in the 80s as you go through the next 10 days. Now let's head over to Josh Tim with the First Alert traffic. Josh.
Yeah, good morning. Starting off this morning with some very dense fog here on the roadways in southern Wisconsin. Just make sure you give yourself a little extra time and have those headlights on. So far, though, we're looking good on the Beltline. Nothing really to slow you down yet heading east or westbound. Looking at other roads here in Dane County, some of the usual brake lights are popping up on Stoughton Road and Verona Road approaching the Beltline ramps. No problems at all downtown around the Capitol Square and UW campus. Volume shouldn't be an issue at least for another half hour or so. And other main routes heading into the city, they're cruising along at the usual speeds with no major crashes or delays. Your First Alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thank you very much, Chris. Thank you, Josh. All right, so we are going to need an even bigger boat.
Oh, yeah.
The Featured Fish in the latest deep-sea thriller coming out this weekend makes Jaws look like a guppy.
The megalodon is expected to be extinct. It's supposed to be extinct, actually, but apparently it's still very much alive and very hungry. Our Will Loper has a preview of the Meg.
How big is that thing?
It was the largest shark that ever existed.
My God. It's a megalodon. He's kidding, right?
It's up to Jason Statham to save the world from a gigantic and very hungry shark.
That thing's out there. You need to find it and kill it.
Why don't you just put a tracker on it? Did you guys ever watch Shark Week?
The Meg is rated PG-13.
He looks heroic, but he's kind of got a negative attitude.
And this is why you stay on lakes and rivers.
Yes.
It's the moral of the story right there. Be sure to tune in to Live at 4 on Monday. Will's going to share his review of The Meg, as well as Spike Lee's new film, Black Klansman.
We are fairly confident, by the way, that the Rock River does not have a prehistoric monster shark-looking thing swimming around it, and that's a good thing because thousands of people from across the country will be in and around the water there this weekend. We'll have an update on the ski championships taking place in Janesville coming up.
Should be a pretty nice weekend for all of that for the people who are visiting, both in and out of the water. Chris is in for Hattie this morning, looking at the return of the heat index and humidity over the weekend. We'll get an update on your First Alert forecast when News 3 This Morning returns.
Good morning. We still do have a dense fog advisory until 9 o'clock, but thankfully a lot of that fog is starting to lift this morning, so visibility is getting better. All the counties that you see shaded in the gray, that includes Janesville, Monroe, Mineral Point, Madison, the Dells, those are all under that dense fog advisory until 9 o'clock. And really it's the locations that are outside of the city centers that are seeing the heaviest of the fog at the moment. But still, we're looking at our live camera and we have seen that fog lift more and more as we've gone through the morning. The temperature now 60 degrees here in Madison. We'll watch our temperatures rise into the 70s by lunchtime, topping out right around 82 degrees with plenty of sunshine into this afternoon. So again, this morning 65 to 77 with dense fog and muggy. By this afternoon, right around 82 degrees for those highs. Guys?
All right, thank you so much, Chris. Packers head coach Mike McCarthy will probably be bragging a bit about his backups when he talks to reporters this afternoon after the team's first preseason game last night. The Pack beat the Tennessee Titans at Lambeau 31-17. As expected, the big-name starters like Aaron Rodgers, Clay Matthews, Randall Cobb, they were all on the sidelines for this one. That gave backup QB Brett Hundley a chance to prove that he could take over when and if the franchise does get hurt again. 3 of the second-string wide receivers caught passes totaling more than 230 yards, so that's a good sign. The Packers take on the Steelers for their next preseason game on Thursday.
So if you're going up to Green Bay anytime this fall, you can go to the Neville Museum to learn some Packers history. There's a new exhibit opening up today that features the team's first African-American players, including Bob Mann, who desegregated the roster in 1950. That exhibit's going to be open until next March. Costs $7 for grown-ups, $3 for kids. It's free to go to the competitive water skiing tournament that's going to be in Janesville starting today. It's an annual show ski national championship. The individual competitions start today at Traxler Park at about 10 o'clock this morning. The team competition takes place tomorrow, runs through Sunday night. Janesville's Rock Aqua Jays, that team's going to be in the water around 8 o'clock Sunday morning. Now, Janesville is estimating 5,000 people are going to be coming to the city for the event, spending more than $2.5 million while they're there in the local economy. Good for them. 6:24 right now. Construction bosses say women are missing out on great opportunities and great salaries, so they're trying to get more girls interested in that traditionally male-dominated industry.
Plus, a national group says Wisconsin has the most livable cities out of any state in the country. We'll break down which ones made the list and share the day's top stories next on News 3 This Morning.
As Madison continues to grow, new data show the city's property values are reaching historic levels.
You'll see teenage girls swinging hammers, laying bricks, and maybe even sitting in the cab of a crane later this afternoon. A look at Madison's newest program teaching what it really means to build like a girl.
This is News 3 This Morning.
That looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Just saying. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the final half hour of News 3 This Morning. 6:28 right now on a very foggy, Friday, August 10th.
They're going to want the lights on the cranes, the cars, whatever you're driving out there. Chris Reese is in for Hattie this morning with a look at your forecast. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning. There was a lot of fog this morning driving in especially. Now, thankfully, we've seen some of that fog begin to lift, but nonetheless, we're going to keep that dense fog advisory around until about 7 or 9 o'clock rather this morning for all of the counties shaded in gray. Dane County has now been removed from the dense fog advisory because things are getting substantially better in terms of visibility here, now at 4 miles. But check out Monroe and the Janesville area. That's where visibility is down to 0. Lone Rock, that visibility is down to 0. So if you are in those areas, just take it easy, give yourself some extra time, and make sure you use the low beam headlights, of course, instead of the high beams as you are out and about driving. Here's a live look right now. The fog here in Madison has essentially lifted. Now it just looks like a thin layer of haze on the horizon that'll burn off as we go through the next half hour or so. 60 degrees is our temperature outside right now. We'll watch our temperatures top out into the low 80s this afternoon. Plenty of sunshine and winds coming out of the north and east. That's going to help those dew points dry out this afternoon as well. So expect those highs right around 82 degrees and feeling much less humid this afternoon. In terms of traffic, the rush hour is now getting started, so we're going to begin to see some of that volume begin to increase. But so far, the Beltline is moving at the moment. That is good news. A few brake lights showing up near Stoughton Road, but no major issues or delays showing up across Dane County as a whole this morning. So far, traffic moving along at its normal speeds with no crashes or delays, guys.
All right, Chris, thank you so much. 6:30 right now, and one person is in the Dane County Jail this morning accused of firing a gun near the UW-Madison campus. Madison police say a single shot was fired at the State Street campus garage between North Lake and North Francis Streets. This happened just before 1:30 this morning. Officers pulled a car over that was speeding out of that ramp and arrested the driver in connection with these shots fired. Now, no injuries were reported, and UW-Madison PD says there is no threat to campus this morning.
A gun rights group is holding a rally tomorrow in support of the Second Amendment. That goes from noon to 3 on the State Street side of the Capitol. Organizers say the event's going to support the right to bear arms and free speech, as well as have an information table where they are hoping to talk to people on the other side of the issue about why they're worried about gun control restrictions.
Some of those individuals, supporters of stronger gun control laws, put hundreds of pairs of shoes on the steps of the state capitol yesterday. Among them were survivors of the Parkland High School shooting. Now, the display featured 664 pairs of empty shoes, representing the 664 Wisconsinites killed with a gun over the last year. We want to remind voters that tomorrow is the last day in Madison to vote early in next week's primary election. It's a number of in-person absentee locations will be open on Saturday at city libraries and the city clerk's office. You do need a photo ID, and a reminder, you can only vote for candidates in one political party on this ballot. If you are not voting early, polls open at 8 a.m. this coming Tuesday.
Some Dane County Democrats are deciding Tuesday on a new state representative. Therese Berceau is not seeking re-election in the 77th district. There are 4 Democrats running to replace her, no Republican in the race. Sheila Stubbs is a special ed teacher, Dane County supervisor. Shabnam Lutfi is an immigration lawyer. Mark Garthwaite runs the Wisconsin Brewers Guild. And John Imes is the executive director of the Wisconsin Environmental Initiative. They are all Democratic candidates. To learn more about them and other races on Tuesday, you can go to channel3000.com.
Madison, Fitchburg, and Sun Prairie are among the most livable cities in the country, according to AARP. That organization looks at housing, transportation, environmental factors, health, and several other things that make a city an optimal place to live. Fitchburg, Sheboygan, La Crosse, and Sun Prairie were all on the top 10 list of small cities. Madison is at the top of the rankings for mid-sized cities, and Milwaukee is among the most livable big cities. According to the latest index, Wisconsin has more top-performing communities than any other state in the country.
For the first time ever, the city of Madison's total property value is greater than that of the city of Milwaukee. That's according to preliminary data from the state's Department of Revenue. Those numbers show Madison's total property value now a little more than $28.7 billion. Milwaukee's property value, meanwhile, $28.3 billion. So this all comes as Madison's population has grown 48% since 1970, while Milwaukee's has dropped by 17% in that same time frame.
There's a first alert traffic note to keep in mind this weekend, particularly if you're driving on Madison's far west side. County Highway M will be closed again from Cross Country Road in Verona to County Highway PD. That's close to the University Ridge Golf Course there. This is the same stretch that was closed last weekend for work. It's happening from 3 a.m. to 9 p.m. tomorrow, and it could be extended to as late as 6 o'clock Monday morning if the contractor needs a bit more time to finish work. The entire County Highway M project is expected to be completed by November.
It's going to be a detour in place if you use Wayland Road on Fitchburg's southwest side. This is going to start on Monday. Wayland's going to be closed between Fitchburg Road and Muchler Road through the end of the month for construction. So the latest data shows 98% of those road workers are men. There's an effort today to try to change who does construction work in the future.
More than a dozen middle and high school age girls are taking part in the first ever Build Like a Girl event here in a couple hours. Christina Laurie is live, hard hat and all, on the UW-Madison campus, talking about what makes this line of work so lucrative for women. Good morning, Christina.
Good morning, Danica and Adam. We hear a lot about the pay disparity, that women only make 79 cents for every dollar a man makes, but in the construction industry, they make significantly more, 92.5 cents for every dollar a man makes. That certainly adds up. The starting wage for women in construction is $60,000 a year on average, and that's with no previous experience. At today's Build Like a Girl event, a dozen middle and high school age girls from the Madison area will get the unique hands-on opportunity to learn about construction. They'll get the chance to swing a hammer, lay some bricks, and tour an active construction site. The program's director believes many girls don't know that careers in construction are available to them, and that's why they don't often pursue them.
There's a lot of opportunities and there's always jobs, and it's not something you can outsource. You have to build where you are. So it's something that's going to continue to have opportunities and grow. And so I think that for, regardless of your gender, it's a great career and a great opportunity. And I don't think a lot of young women hear about it until it's much later or just don't consider it.
Another bonus, the construction industry is really booming and it's only expected to grow. The Bureau of Labor Statistics says over the next 10 years, the number of construction jobs is projected to grow by 11%. That's faster than any other industry. Now, starting at 8 o'clock, a group of 14 middle and high school age girls will meet over in Middleton at the Mirren Construction Company's headquarters there. And then by 9:30, they'll head out to this construction site, and maybe you'll see some of them sitting in the cab of this crane.
Do they have a license? Do you have a license, Christina? That's the real question.
I do not.
Okay.
She's not turning the key. Okay. That's the main.
Good point. Good point. She'll just use the hammer.
There you go.
All right, Christina Laurie, thank you so much.
6:35 right now, and the National Weather Service has confirmed that a tornado touched down yesterday in Dane County. We'll have the latest in the morning sprint.
And dozens of large animals not able to be house pets could soon be moving to a new home here in southern Wisconsin. We'll share where and why these big cats are moving when News 3 This Morning comes right back.
Welcome back, 6:39 on this Friday morning. We always ask you to share your morning with us, and with the dense fog advisory still in effect, had to share this one from Jerry. It is a beautiful shot from Castle Rock Lake. Just soak that in. What a beautiful, beautiful sunrise there, Jerry. Thank you so much for capturing it and sending it over.
Be nice to have a cup of coffee there right now.
Yeah.
What does your morning look like? Please take a picture, put it on our Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter with that hashtag MyNews3Morning. That's how Danica and Leah and I find them and show them off right here on the program.
So a local sanctuary for big cats is moving to a bigger space for those animals.
The Wisconsin Big Cat Rescue and Education Center is currently in Rock Springs, Wisconsin. It takes in lions, tigers, other big cats who don't have anywhere else to go. There are 27 animals there now. The founders say they need more space to help more animals, so they're moving to a larger site, or they want to, outside of Lake Delton on County Highway A. A village committee there has already approved the original plans that include 100 sites for tents, RVs, and campers that would then be built 100 feet, or 75 feet rather, from the sanctuary.
And an in-ground pool for the cats.
In-ground pools for the cats.
In-ground pool.
Very good for the cats. Good to be a cat. 6:40 right now. We're really ending our week on a nice note weather-wise. Might be a little muggy where you are this morning. Still some fog throughout the area. Chris, though, says that fog's going to go away. It's going to be less humid as the day goes on, with temperatures in the low 80s. His full First Alert forecast is coming up next.
First, though, it is August 10th, and we want to say happy birthday to Scarlett, Haley, Fallon, Everly, and all of the kiddos turning 3. Enjoy the nice weather, eat some cake, and thanks for letting us help celebrate on News 3 this morning.
A live look outside right now in Platteville, getting a little bit clearer this morning as the fog clears out. Pretty much cleared up here in Madison already. We'll get an update from Chris here in a minute. You're going to hear a number of military planes over southern Wisconsin starting on Monday. That's when the annual Northern Lightning training exercises start up at Volk Field in Camp Douglas. More than 1,000 members of the Air Force, Marines, Navy are going to be all there learning to work together in different drills. That we're all going to be able to hear it here in southern Wisconsin. Those military jets are going to go from 9:30 in the morning till 5 o'clock in the afternoon. These exercises are scheduled to run for the next 2 weeks.
This is a really cool story. An aspiring R&B group from Madison will be chasing their dreams instead of waterfalls later today at the State Fair. Micaiah Drake and Janae Harris are the founding members of Trilogy Trill. As part of the Celebrity Music Mentors program, they're going to get to meet 90s R&B group TLC later today. The girls will get the chance to talk backstage with the group and learn more about the music industry before TLC performs on the main stage at the State Fair tonight at 8.
6:45 right now. Going to be a really nice day weather-wise, Chris, if people do want to go to the State Fair. Good morning.
Good morning. That's right. It's going to be a fantastic day. Not the rain and thunderstorms that we saw yesterday. By the way, we got just under half an inch of rain yesterday. That puts us at a little over a third of our normal rainfall for the month of August. So we're starting out above average. I think we'll slow down a bit because we are going to enter a pattern that is a bit more on the dry side. We'll talk about that in just a moment. First, let's start you off with the dense fog advisory that we do have out there. Dane County now excluded from that, but all around Dane County, the farther you are away from the city center, the more fog that you may begin to run into. Visibility only 1 mile for our friends in Janesville and Lone Rock. The visibility is 0. If you run into some of that dense fog, just take it a little easy, slow down a little bit. Temperatures are cooler than they were 24 hours ago. Now 11 degrees cooler here in Madison as opposed to this time yesterday. The temperature 60 degrees as of now. Upper 60s in the west, upper 50s as you work your way towards the east. We'll watch your temperatures warm up into the low 80s for those highs this afternoon. And then you see how the dew points are lower in the east. A northeasterly wind is going to be bringing in some of that drier air into the picture as we go through the morning. It's a light northeasterly wind, so it's not rushing in here, but gradually we'll see our dew points begin to come down. A region of high pressure over Minnesota helping funnel in that northeasterly wind. And while that high pressure is coming out of Canada, it's not so much that it's cooler, it's that it's much drier, and that's going to mean plenty of sunshine as we go through your weekend. Temperatures topping out into the 80s just about every single day, starting out in the low 60s for your Saturday as well. And again, topping out in the 80s with abundant sunshine. And we have several days of sunshine in our forecast as well. The thing is, temperatures will likely remain above average at least through the weekend and for the start of next week. There are some signs in the latest model trends that next week could come in a little bit cooler. But this morning, 65 to 77, dense fog in spots, and then mild and muggy. By the afternoon, we'll top out right around 82 degrees. We'll be partly sunny and much less humid as well. But then we go through the next 7 to 10 days. 84 for your Saturday, 86 on your Sunday, and then 87 for Monday. So plenty of warm temperatures with low humidity and lots of sunshine though as well. So it's ultimately going to be pretty spectacular as we go into the next weekend as well. Very few rain chances. We have one Tuesday night into Wednesday, and really I'm not all too impressed with it, so we'll keep looking at it. Another one next Saturday as well. That's 9 days away, and from here it really doesn't look all that impressive as well. Pet Walk here is Jack Meister in Lodi, and he is living his best life.
He's not impressed with the thought of a possible storm on Tuesday night either. He's like, bring on the sun of the weekend.
Exactly. I think I need to do what the dog's doing. It's going to chill out.
Grab your goggles.
Thank you, Chris.
My pleasure.
Morning Sprint's coming up next right here on News 3 This Morning.
All this
6:51, time now for the morning sprint. We have a dense fog advisory across the area this morning, but Chris Reese says it should clear out for a really nice day.
Christina Lori's reporting from the UW campus on a new campaign to get girls interested in construction, but we start in Deerfield, where insurance adjusters are going to be looking at the extensive damage caused by a tornado that came through yesterday afternoon. National Weather Service has confirmed that tornado touched down in Deerfield, even though no sirens went off as the storm came through. The roof was ripped off the International Machinery Exchange on Main Street. Several homes had to be evacuated because of a gas leak caused by the wind and the rain.
There's at least one Wisconsin crew in California this morning helping to fight the 15 or so wildfires burning across that state. The Mendocino fire is the largest in state history. That one alone has already destroyed more than 200 homes and buildings. So far this summer, the Wisconsin DNR has sent firefighters, to 38 separate wildfires out west.
One person is in the Dane County Jail this morning accused of firing a gun near the UW campus. Madison police say this happened at the State Street campus garage right by the UW bookstore around 1:30 this morning. Officers pulled over a car speeding out of the ramp, arrested the driver for doing that shooting. Now, nobody was hurt. UW-Madison officers say there is no threat to campus this morning.
The man accused of shooting and killing a Milwaukee police officer will be back in court later this month after pleading not guilty to that murder. Jonathan Copeland Jr. faces 3 felony charges after allegedly shooting 52-year-old officer Michael Mikowski last month and shooting at 2 other officers.
Janesville homeowners could see their property taxes go up if the city loses lawsuits against some big companies in town. Janesville Gazette's reporting this morning 3 so-called dark store cases are among the 11 property assessment appeals filed against the city. If they and 8 other businesses win their appeals to be taxed as similar-sized locations that are closed or dark, City of Janesville says homeowners could see a $26 increase on their property taxes.
Speaking of property assessments, for the first time ever, Madison's total property value is higher than Milwaukee's. State Department of Revenue data shows Madison's total property value is a little more than $28.7 billion, while Milwaukee's property value is $28.3 billion. Now, over the last few decades, Madison's population has vastly increased as Milwaukee's population continues to decline.
Middle and high school age girls are getting ready to don their hard hats and pink safety vests to learn more about careers in construction. It's part of Madison's first ever Build Like a Girl event happening later this morning. The idea behind it is to give girls the unique hands-on opportunity to experience what it's like to work in construction, a booming industry. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the number of construction jobs is projected to grow by 11% over the next 10 years, faster than any other occupation. Build Like a Girl starts at 8 o'clock at the Mirren Construction Company's headquarters in Middleton.
We do still have a dense fog advisory. That's going to go through 9 o'clock for all of the counties shaded in the gray. Dane County has been dropped from that, but still some areas of some patchy dense fog and spots. Visibility now 4 miles here, 7 miles in Janesville. You go over towards Lone Rock, that visibility is 0. But as we go through the rest of your day, expect more sunshine to take over. Temperatures topping out right around 82 degrees.
Thank you very much, Chris. So starting next week, you're going to hear a number of military planes flying overhead. The annual Northern Lightning training exercises start at Volk Field in Camp Douglas next Monday. More than 1,000 members of the Air Force, Marines, and Navy are going to be there learning how to work together in different drills. Those military jets are going to fly from 9:30 in the morning till 5 o'clock in the afternoon and are scheduled to run for about 2 weeks.
We're waiting for the Defense Department to outline its plans for a new branch of the military. Vice President Mike Pence announced the administration's intention to create a Space Force, which would include developing a fleet of fighters that specialize in space combat, as well as a secretary of the Space Force. The Pentagon plans to get that branch up and running by the year 2020. CBS This Morning will have much more on this story coming up after 7.
Tomorrow's the last day in Madison to vote early for next week's primary election. A number of in-person absentee locations will be open on Saturday at the city libraries and at the city clerk's office. You do need a photo ID, and you can only vote for candidates in one political party.
This weekend, a local nonprofit is making sure thousands of kids in our community are ready for school next month. 100 Black Men of Madison hopes to help about 2,000 families tomorrow. The group's giving out free backpacks and school supplies from 9 to noon at Madison College's Truax campus. There will also be vendors registering kids for after-school programs and information about college opportunities for students of color.
Competitive water skiers are going to be getting on the water at Traxler Park in Janesville later this morning for the annual Show Ski National Championships. The individual competitions start at 10 Team competition starts tomorrow, runs through Sunday. City of Janesville expects about 5,000 people to spend $2.5 million in the local economy during this event.
Packers head coach Mike McCarthy will probably be bragging a bit about his backups when he talks to reporters this afternoon. The Pack beat the Tennessee Titans in its first preseason game, 31-17. As expected, the big-name starters like Aaron Rodgers, Clay Matthews, Randall Cobb, they were all on the sidelines for this one. The Packers play again in the preseason against the Steelers next Thursday.
6:56 now. Let's get a final check on traffic with Josh Tim. Good morning, Josh.
Yeah, good morning. Still some fog hanging around on the roadways here in southern Wisconsin. Just a reminder to make sure you drive with some caution when you head out the door. So far, though, the fog is not slowing down the Beltline. It's moving well right now with no major issues at all. There are a few brake lights beginning to show up on inbound side of John Nolan between Olin Avenue and North Shore Drive. That's going to add a minute or two. Other main routes heading into the city are cruising along at the posted speeds with no crashes or delays. Your First Alert Traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Have a good weekend. Thanks, Josh.
Yep, you too.
And we still do continue to see some fog around the area, but that will gradually burn off. 60 degrees as you head out the door right now. By the afternoon, we'll see those temperatures topping out right around 82 degrees, and it will be much less humid.
Nice. Thank you, Chris. Thank you all for joining us. Enjoy the beautiful weekend in store. We'll see you on Monday. Have a great one.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.